Now we're going to hear from some patients. You know who you are? Our first group of patients. Please come up. Please come up. We have about 30 minutes with our patients, then we're going to take a coffee.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right.
All right.
It's a lot of difference to stand here. Should we sit
Sit,
down?
please,
Yeah.
sit, yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Moa Lily, and I work as a journalist for the news site Cannabis in Focus, where we write about everything that's surrounding cannabis. And one of the benefits that I get is that I can interview medical cannabis patients and hear about their journey and how cannabis affects their life. So here I am with my friend Klara that uses cannabis as medication. So today we have the benefit of hearing about her journey. So,
Thank you, Moa.
thank you for being here with us. It's a
Thank you.
pleasure.
And I just want to, can we first start to give this conference a round of applause?
Yes.
And Aureum Life, and Angelica, and Andrew, and the investors, and everybody behind. I think this is absolutely amazing.
It is.
So, where
Yeah.
do we start?
Yeah, can you tell us a bit about yourself? Who are you?
Wow. Shall I do that, or shall we go into the?
Yeah, maybe we can start with what type of medical cannabis do you use today, and
Yeah.
for what reason do you use it?
Yeah. So I'm using the cannabinoid and the dronabinoid, the oil, the isolate, the CBD oil, and the THC oil. And it has been a very, very long and difficult and almost traumatic journey to receive the medical cannabis as a prescription from the Swedish institutions. Actually, I didn't get it until Aureum Life became a company, so I'm really, really grateful to Aureum. I was in a car accident in February 2018. It was the winter storm, worst winter storm in the south of Sweden, in Österlen. In a very long time, it was super icy. I couldn't see anything. It was really like Armageddon or some like American movie or something. It was so horrible. And then I crashed with my car straight into a bunch of things. And then I got a whiplash, and I couldn't sleep, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't yawn, I couldn't sing. I sing in a choir normally, and I couldn't laugh because something happened here with my chest as well. It's called Trestes syndrome. And I was in so much pain. It's undescribable. And I have 2 children. I'm a single mom, so it was really traumatic for them as well, that I was in constant pain, super stressed out because I couldn't sleep because of all the pain. And then the doctors, they were prescribing me. First they were Tramadol, Oxycontin, and I'm no, I don't want that. I'm super afraid of that. And then they ended up giving me, so there was a time when I took 15 or 16 tablets a day.
Oh.
They wanted me to take 2 Alvedon together with 2 diclofenac and 2 Paraflex and Atarax, which is for anxiety, because I was so screwed up because of the pills and the sleep deprivation. And then in the night, of course, some sleeping pills. And I was so wasted. I was just walking around super intoxicated,
Yeah.
and still in so much pain, because it was just some puff clouds around me, but I could still feel the pain. I could still not sleep, and I was just totally wasted.
Yeah.
And I kept telling them that I really don't want to take this. I want medical cannabis. And they're like, what? Do you think we can prescribe drugs? I'm like, what? And like, you want to throw opioids after me, which is highly addictive and super dangerous, and you don't want to give me medical cannabis, and there is medical cannabis in FAS, the Swedish. Yeah, the Swedish people know what I mean. Drug book, the Swedish drug book.
Yeah, it's approval by
the medical health department. But they just didn't want to listen to that, and they were treating me really bad because I was so clear with that I wanted the medical cannabis instead. And then after a long time, like, because I was coming like with all these different kinds of research and stuff, and they didn't want to listen. So I don't know if you just want me to talk on.
It's okay. But like, what was it that sparked your interest in using cannabis as a medical treatment?
Yeah, that's really funny because it's like a full circle loop here with Mr. Andrew, because it's actually 2 occasions that sparked my interest for medical cannabis. So the first one was in 2003 already. I've been living on and off in South Africa since 2003. And South Africa has the largest capita of Rastafarians. It's like traditional healers. They have people called Xhosa people. They're like the oldest people of the earth, and they use cannabis as a medicine, and they have done that for a very, very long time. And I cut my finger really deep. I was bleeding a lot. And then there was a traditional healer who had like clean cannabis ash, just the ash. And they said that you don't have to go to hospital, we will put it in here, in your finger instead. I'm like, they're crazy, that's not gonna work. But then they did that, and they tied something around it. And then the next morning, everything was fine. Like, everything was fine. It was like a movie. So that there and then I was like, okay, this is really a sacred plant. And then fast forward, 2019, I was invited as a speaker because I work with hemp at the Canatech Global Summit in Cape Town, 2019. I don't know if you were there, but your brother was there, Steve D'Angelo. And he really, really inspired me. And we have been in contact since then, and he's been like also supporting me a lot. And then there were some amazing, powerful boss lady businesswomen. One of them, Carrie Fried, her name is. And then there is this movement, Women Employed in Cannabis, which is, I'm sure you know, of Kyra Reed and all the amazing women in the States that are working with cannabis. So that has been like my support family through this journey, to not give up and to not feel like there's something wrong with me because I want cannabis, or like I'm a drug addict because I want cannabis instead. So I also highly suggest that everybody who is interested check them up, because it's really good to be supported. So a lot of these like global networks has really inspired me and helped me to not give up.
Yeah.
And then Aureum Life was established, and they were like so much in the news because of all this with Arbetsförmedlingen and all the new recruitment. So I contacted Aureum Life, and then I got help with them. But before that, it was a really terrible journey. And I feel like I'm speaking a little bit like all over the place. I'm a little bit nervous because I'm not used to talk about my personal story. I'm used to talk about hemp and cannabis, like, but I feel like this is very emotional for me, because I went to the Smart and Rehab Center. I don't know what that is, like pain and rehab center.
Yeah.
They sent me there for a whole day. I've been going through so many different kind of x-rays, cortisone, needles, and all this kind of like opioids that I was on, and I felt afraid that I was going to be like addicted. I couldn't work, and my children were like, "Mom, you're always so tired and angry." I felt that if somebody would push me in Coop or Ica, I would hit them because I was like constantly so short-tempered and tired. And then I went to this pain and rehab center, and I was like, okay, now I'm going to get help.
Yeah.
Like they are going to listen to me, and they will be curious to help me, to really like take me in. And I was there for a whole day, many hours, and meeting like physiotherapist, doctor, psychologist, pain, all these different kind of people. And I kept telling them, I want medical cannabis. I don't want to keep being on these opioids. And then at the end of the day, they're like going to give me the verdict. And then I was like, okay, now I'm going to get it. And then they were like, again, this thing of like, you understand that we can't prescribe drugs. We can't just sit here and hand out drugs. And I was like, what? And then they said, well, since you don't respond to the painkillers, which wasn't the truth, it wasn't that I didn't respond, it was that I didn't want it. And then they're like, oh, well, since you don't respond to pain medication, we state you as you have fibromyalgia.
Okay.
And it was, I had been in a car crash, like frontal car crash, and I'm like, what? How can I get that all of a sudden, like from being here? And then, well, you said that you had like complicated relationship with your mom, and you've been having 2 traumatic births, and I'm like, what? But I was in a car crash, and they like just started to like blur my situation even more, and like I understand now it was a blessing in disguise that I got fibromyalgia, because that will actually help me to get the medical cannabis. But I don't think they were aware of that. I didn't feel like they were there to help me. So I was sitting there with these 4 professionals, and they were like really patronizing me, like really treating me as if I was some kind of a heroin junkie. I don't judge, but it was like really, the way they were treating me was below all critic. So yeah, then I went there from there, and they're like, you don't have to come back here. You are like unsolvable, unhelpable. And then after that, Aureum Life was established, and I contacted them, and now it's been 36 weeks.
With the oils.
Yeah.
So if we
not with the oils, first with Sativex and then the
Sativex
oils.
and
Yep.
then oils. So if we compare from you going to taking 6 pills a day, it's very
15.
hard, 15 pills
Yeah,
a day,
it was 5 at a time.
and today you're only taking 2 oils.
Yeah.
How did it affect your life? What can you do today that was not possible before?
Wow. It was like I said I took some napkins in the back because I felt like I'm gonna cry. My life is like totally different. First of all, I sleep. Secondly, I wake up with like life enthusiasm. I couldn't like do like this before, and this. And I can do like yoga and meditation every morning. I can lift my child, even though it has passed 2 years, so he's heavier. And for the last 2 weeks, I've been building a hempcrete house, and that's very physical. Like I've been lifting like, I don't know how many 1,000 kilos of hemp and lime these 2 past weeks. I feel like I got my life back in all ways, like both from the actual joy inside, and also like from not walking around like a zombie. So, in short, I felt like I was dead, deprived of my life, deprived of my pride because of the way I was being treated. And then, like when I came to Aureum, it was like, they listen to me, like they understand that they don't treat me bad, that they want to help me, and it's not a battle, and that is also like worth everything, to be seen and heard.
Yeah, of course. It's so great to hear.
Thank you. So thank you to Aureum.
So, thank you for sharing. So we're gonna finish up now, and give her an applause again. It's just
Thank
amazing.
you. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Moa.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that was it for us.
We have a question there.
Yeah.
Is there a question? Just one question, because we have to do a sound check right after this question.
Okay. So my question actually has to do with your earlier medication, because I think as doctor, and I'm thinking of our general practitioner just talking just recently, we tend to forget that medication also causes damage. And being on diclofenac, which is very disruptive to the gut, tends to cause a lot of problems with the gut.
Yeah.
The Paraflex is very sedating, as well as the Atarax is causing problems with you. Do you feel that you suffered any permanent damage from that medication, or have you recuperated that?
That's a good and tricky question, because I haven't done like inner scanning, but I can't say, about the liver, for example, and the stomach, but I have a sensitive stomach from before, because I was suffered with Crohn's when I was younger. So it was really terrible for me to take it. When I took it, I suffered a lot.
Okay.
Now I don't suffer anymore. I feel like the oils are healing me from inside and out.
And have you done any other things? Because, I mean, there's a lot of things to do with diet and stuff with that us doctors tend not to talk about as well. And you have an autoimmune disease. And with the disrupted gut, you will also have a very sensitive and probably a bit damaged nervous system to start with. So,
With the oils and with the medical cannabis, as I said, every morning I am able to do yoga and meditation. So I'm moving, which I couldn't before. I couldn't lift my arms up like this. And also I'm eating a lot of hemp. So that's also helping me.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have coffee. We're going to ask everyone to leave the room. We have a sound check that we have to do for our musical guest, which is at 4:20.